It wasn't so long ago that Hamilton County was all farms, and the Reynolds family was here then. They were farming, they were part of a very community-oriented farm culture.
This whole area was their farm area. Mac and Arline donated the land for the church. They also provide the land for this building, which was the Lions Club, and now is our food pantry and our fellowship hall, and also the land for the Masons building, which is directly behind us. To know Mac and Arline, you knew that they were successful, but they were just good people.
My dad landed in the implement business because a gentleman, elderly gentleman that went to church with us, said, I need to get rid of it. Mac, you're looking for something. Why don't you buy the John Deere store here in Fishers? December of '55, my parents went into the John Deere business. We evolved out of a business that started with 3 to 4 total people, and counting 2 employees besides my mother and my father, to a business that has over 200 and some employees and about 7 locations here in the Midwest.
My parents were great people. They really were. Whether it was a dinner or some activity, they were always helping.
My dad said we should always tithe. And when I look at and total things up of what they took in, especially when they're farming, and what they gave back to the church, fire department, the hospital in Noblesville, some years is almost 50%. My dad, when he was still in the business, he was one of the top dealers. And I swear it was basically his corporate philosophy.
He was a very strong Christian. He practiced what he preached. He said, give as you go along. Anybody can give when you die, but you got to be able to give as you live.
They don't look for publicity for what they give. They give out of their heart.
The Reynolds understand that times change, and you have to adapt to changing times, and yet keep rooted in the same values.
Anything that was coming up, they were going to try and help the community or someone in the community.
They believe that the family should come together around faith, around values, around mission, and that's in part why they do the lights as well.
Food pantry is something that is so dear to a lot of hearts here in the community and our church. We didn't realize how many people really needed food. You think Hamilton County, prosperous county, why would anybody need food? But they're there. And people might have been laid off from a job that they've worked at. They have 3 or 4 kids at home. We've got to have food on the table.
We see close to 80 families a week, so we're talking close to 300 people a week.
The Reynolds family came to us and said, you know, we support the food pantry. We think it's a great thing we're doing. Would you consider having an opportunity to come out and collect free will offering during our Christmas light display, which gives us sufficient funds to provide frozen meat to our clients, which is something that not every pantry has the luxury of having.
Well, the lights are very important to the food pantry, but as to the community in general. It's just a fun time, and I think it's so meaningful for the whole community and the whole state of Indiana. People come from everywhere just to do something that day with their family and then go through and see the lights.
It started out as something to honor my father over 20 years ago by doing one tractor and putting stringing lights on it because they were very big Christmas people.
It was such a simple idea at first, and it just kept growing, and we let the employees be involved.
As we look back to where we've come from, and obviously at my age, we got to look to where we're going. I have to remind myself that what my dad told me, nothing's forever. Everything's timing. That's one of his greatest quotes. Timing is everything. He told me, Gary, if you want to line everything up and sell it as soon as I'm gone, feel free if you think that's the right thing to do. Don't get in this business. Don't stay in this business if it's not the right thing to do. Do it because you really love doing it. Do it because you like it and that's what you want to do. I owe my dad nothing when it comes to keeping it for a legacy. While those things are important, the legacy that you live as your life is a lot more important than the business.
And I'm quite sure that it will go through the family for the next generation after, because they have good examples.
Knowing that there's no pressure. That's just the way it is, folks. That's what we're supposed to do.